Whenever Qualcomm launches their flagship processor, there's only one phone that comes to our mind, and that phone is the ideal phone to test the performance of Snapdragon 8 Elite. I know you must have already guessed it. Ow! Yes, I'm talking about iQOO 13 that launched in India at 5th. You know what? Before I talk about the pricing, let's just take a look at the phone because this deserves your proper attention. So hit the like button and let's get started. Okay, starting with the box, it's slightly thinner than iQOO 12 box, but thankfully that doesn't change anything on the inside. You still get everything you need: the phone, 120 watt PD charger with Type-C to C cable, a transparent silicone case, SIM ejector pin, and some paperwork. And when you take the phone out of the box, you'll notice that the looks of the phone didn't change much, but there are some major changes. The back of the phone also looks a bit more cleaner, as the torch has now been moved within the camera module and the entire branding is also left aligned. The camera bump is now 30% thinner than iQOO 12, and you also get the Monster Halo, which is an RGB LED that glows around the camera module. You can customize it for notifications, battery, or even music, and it looks quite sick. I mean, it's minimal. You can turn it on if you like and turn it off if you don't. The dimensions of the phone also didn't change much, even though it packs a much bigger battery, and the in-hand feel is also better, as the edges are slightly rounded, so they are a bit easy on the fingers. Now there are two very good upgrades here. First, IP68 and 69 rating, which is pretty cool if you are careless with your phone or if you have kids around. And second, the faster Type-C port. Honestly, I wasn't expecting this, but kudos to iQOO for this. The faster Type-C port is good for faster file transfers, but more importantly, it can do display out, so you can play your favorite games at maximum FPS in a big display. Now, let's flip this over and talk about this gorgeous display. It's a nice and sharp 144Hz 2K LTPO AMOLED panel that can go up to 1800 nits in high brightness mode, and you can use it with wet hands too. The bezels are very thin and the display is completely flat, so no struggles finding the screen protector. And yeah, this time you get an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, which is a nice upgrade over the optical fingerprint scanner in iQOO 12, and the display is protected by short sensation alpha glass protection. In my usage, be it in harsh sunlight or doom scrolling late at night, there were no visibility issues and it was pretty easy on the eyes too. I also watched a couple of movies and this eye-opening Netflix documentary, and I absolutely love the multimedia experience on this phone. There's proper HDR support on Netflix and other platforms, and the dual stereo speakers are also very loud and crisp. The sound separation is also very balanced. So yeah, it's all good here. It's time to talk about the performance because this phone is powered by Snapdragon 8 Elite processor, which was in headlines a lot. Some say it's very powerful and beats the iPhone, while some say that it's a hot mess. Now that we have the ideal phone, let's go and test the reality of Snapdragon 8 Elite processor. Before we get on with the benchmarks, let me just quickly tell you about 8 Elite processor and how is it different from 8 Gen 3. See, Snapdragon 8 Elite is based on a 3nm architecture, and for the first time, it's featuring the 2nd Gen Orion cores that we first saw on Snapdragon X Elite laptops. The clock speeds are also higher compared to 8 Gen 3 or even Dimensity 9400, and both the GPU and NPU have been upgraded as well. Also, we have the top-end variant of comes with 16GB LPDDR5X Ultra RAM and 512GB UFS 4.1 storage. There's Q2 gaming chip for improved gaming performance, which I'll come to later, and 7K VC cooling system to keep the phone cool in any situation. Okay, let's check out the benchmarks now. In Antutu, iQOO 13's best score was 2.79 million, which is slightly better than Realme and the closest we ever got to the advertised 3 million mark. We ran the test multiple times with and without AC, and the lowest score was 2.75 million, and the temperatures never crossed 40 degrees, which is pretty good. In Geekbench CPU 2, iQOO 13 scores were the best. In single core, it's only slightly better than Realme, but in multi-core, it's quite close to 10,000, and that's just insane. In fact, it even beats the Apple's A18 Pro, which is the first for Snapdragon. In CPU throttling, it throttled down to 84% in 15 minutes test, which is comparatively better than what we saw on Realme, but it's slightly warmer too. And in 60 minutes test, the phone throttled down to 75%, which is okay. In Antutu storage test, I was expecting higher numbers, especially because of the UFS 4.1, but it's still the same as UFS 4.0. We also tried running AI benchmarks. AI22 was not even starting, but in Geekbench AI, the quantized scores are more than A18 Pro, which is really good, but the single precision scores are still behind. In Geekbench GPU, there are no surprises, but in 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme Test, the best score on iQOO is even better than what we saw on Realme, which was already better than Dimensity 9400 and A18 Pro. Although the stability was only 60%, but it was running a lot cooler, which is good. In 3D Mark Solar Bay 2, the numbers are very good and it doesn't heat up as well. Now that we're done with the benchmarks, let's see how it performs in gaming. In both PGMI and COD Mobile, the phone performs as it should, and even after 30 minutes of gameplay, the phone stays pretty cool. In Genshin Impact 2, it performed as expected, there were no frame drops even at the highest setting, and it didn't get hot too. In fact, my hands felt warmer than the phone. I wanted to test some more demanding titles, so I played Arena Breakout at Ultra HD settings with 120 FPS, and the FPS stayed constant here as well. COD Warzone is also playable with stable 60 FPS at peak graphics, but the game itself is unstable. Apart from the raw gaming performance, the Q2 chipset brings a ton of cool gaming features. First of all, you can play any game in ultra high quality with the improved super resolution feature, and that's awesome because this takes the full advantage of 2K resolution display. But it's not just 2K, it has a 144Hz refresh rate too, and to take advantage of that, there's game frame interpolation feature that lets you play Genshin Impact at 144 FPS, which is pretty cool. And not just that, the 4D game vibration feels a bit improved this time, and there are a lot more gaming features to customize your gaming experience. So yeah, in gaming, the processor gives you all the power and the phone gives you all the cool gaming features, but if you still can't get the kills, what can I say? Other than benchmarks and gaming, the phone performs pretty well in day-to-day usage too. I didn't experience any bugs or slowdowns. In fact, I also recorded a 30 minutes 4K 60 video to see if that heats up the phone, and well, it didn't. So yeah, it's all good. After running all the benchmarks, gaming and usual testing, I can say one thing's for sure. Snapdragon 8 Elite is not at all a hot mess. It's in fact a very solid processor that brings great improvements over 8 Gen 3 and doesn't overheat too. I hope this video clears things up. Apart from the performance, the battery also got a major boost. With a much bigger 6000 mAh battery, you really don't have to worry about the phone dying on you. In PC Mark, it scored impressive 18 hours 42 minutes, so in day-to-day usage, even with gaming, it can easily last you around 8 hours, and the 120-watt PD charger charges the phone fully in almost half an hour. In terms of software, iQOO 13 does have some good things going for it, like the fast and smooth animation, the new AI features like circle to search, AI erase, live call translation, and there's no hot apps and hot games too. But I still found some bloatware which can be uninstalled though. Plus you get 4 years of OS updates and 5 years of security patches, which is definitely better than last time. On connectivity front too, iQOO 13 is pretty sorted with Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4, 13 5G bands and NFC support. And yeah, the haptics are also well tuned, although they are not deeply integrated into the UI. Finally, the cameras. You get a triple rear camera setup with 50 megapixel Sony IMX921 main sensor, 50 megapixel telephoto with 2x optical zoom and a 50 megapixel ultra wide camera. And on the front, you get a 32 megapixel selfie shooter that can record at 4K 60 FPS. Now, I know what you must be thinking. The camera setup does not feel like an upgrade, and yes, it's not, because the sensor size of the main camera is now smaller and you also don't get OIS in telephoto lens, and the optical zoom is now reduced to 2x only. But when I started taking photos from this phone, I was genuinely impressed by the result. In daytime, the camera setup hardly goes wrong. You get very good photos with rich details, punchy colors, and the HDR is also handled well. I'm showing all kinds of photos here, be it landscapes, portraits, ultra-wide shots, and the 2x photos from the telephoto lens. And as you can see, they all look very good. But in nighttime, the shots from the main camera look good, but the photos from the telephoto lens turn out blurry if the phone is not held still, because there's no OIS to balance the shakiness of the hands. And yeah, the selfie camera can also take some rich, sharp and vibrant photos, as you can see here. By the way, there's also this street photography mode that is quite cool. Just swipe up from here and you'll see multiple filters to choose from. And all you need to do is go out on streets and start clicking. The photos come out trippy. And if I talk about the videos, you can record 4K 60 from all 4 cameras, and you can also switch rear cameras while recording. I'll leave a link to all the camera samples in the video description, so check them out, and while you're at it, hit the like button. So yeah, that's the iQOO 13. It's launching in India at the starting price of 51,999 with all the offers and discounts, and at that price, it's definitely a killer phone. It brings huge improvements over iQOO 12 in terms of performance, display, battery, software support, and a faster Type-C port. Of course, the camera specs don't feel like an upgrade, but Vivo's processing does help. See, I don't know about awards, but this phone wins performance gain every single year, and I hope they continue doing that. So yeah, that's it from my side. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, press that like button. If you have any more questions about iQOO 13, ask us in comments and we'll answer them. And if you're already using iQOO 12, do share your experiences so that everyone can know. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.